This week, Tulsi Gabbard came out in favor of Florida's Don't Say Gay bill, which was recently signed into law by Governor Ron Desantis. And as we first saw in the 2020 Democratic presidential debates, Tulsi Gabbard will say just about anything in order to grab herself some spotlight. She actually went to the trouble of releasing a video supporting the Don't Say Gay bill, and it holds zero water. Let's take a look.
You may have seen in the news recently, or you may be a parent who's experienced how parental rights are under attack all across the country as the government tries to usurp parents' rights and responsibility to raise their own children.
Tulsi, the government has no interest in raising children, and if attacks on parental rights are swallowing up the nation, as Tulsi Gabbard claims, why can't she bring up one single way in which that's happening? One measly little example before this particular bill to prove that the government is trying to raise our children, this massive federal indoctrination she claims is going on. Now, in school, a child has to actually prove their argument with examples, but not Tulsi Gabbard. And that's because Tulsi Gabbard can assume, rightfully so, that her audience has already been well indoctrinated by right-wing spin. She's counting on that. She must be. It's the only way I can imagine Tulsi Gabbard could decide to sit in front of a camera and discuss something she knows absolutely nothing about.
Now, we should all support the Parental Rights and Education bill that recently passed in Florida, which very simply bans government and government schools from indoctrinating woke sexual values.
Again, Tulsi Gabbard cannot pull out one example, one single solitary specific of schools teaching woke sexual values. What the Parental Rights and Education bill is, and Tulsi Gabbard knows this, is a pretty little cake decorated with all sorts of pro-parent items on the outside. A school district may not adopt procedures or student support forms that require school district personnel to withhold from a parent information about his or her student's mental, emotional, or physical health or well-being. Well, that's like arguing against kicking puppies. You have to read the whole thing, because inside this pretty little cake is a big, nasty turd. A school district may not encourage classroom discussion about sexual orientation or gender identity in primary grade levels, or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students. So doesn't it seem to you like this whole part should be its own separate bill, argued on its own merits, instead of shoehorned into a bill about student mental health? And notice how intentionally vague it is. Who is to determine what is appropriate and inappropriate? Now, if a teacher asks children to draw a picture of their family, what do the kids with two moms or two dads do? Does this representation of family get the same honor and attention that the other kid's picture does, the one with the mother and the father? And what if there's a child in the class who believes they're gay? Any age. Are they actively discouraged from thinking that way about themselves? This law allows another parent to sue if in their mind that child is breaking this law. And what if a gay teacher is seen being picked up at the end of the day by their partner and a student sees it, and then the next day the student asks them point blank in class, "Are you gay?" What do you do then? Tulsi Gabbard, of course, brought up none of this. And I think that that's what the state is counting on. Schools don't want to be inundated with lawsuits, so they're just going to say, no, none of it. That way we can focus on education. This stupid Florida bill is making us do this, but it's got to be done because we don't have the money to fight this legislation, and we certainly don't have the money to pay out settlement after settlement. Tulsi Gabbard, of course, brought none of this up. She simply uses the buzzwords woke sexual values because Tulsi Gabbard, unlike a third grader, can't be bothered to do her homework.
Now, government has no place in our personal lives. Government has no place in our bedrooms. Parents are the ones responsible for raising their kids and instilling in them a moral foundation, not the government.
If government has no place in the bedroom and that bedroom contains a same-sex couple, then the government has no place saying that that same-sex couple can't live the rest of their lives publicly. But Tulsi Gabbard thinks it's okay for children of same-sex parents to have their family existence all but erased at schools, while children of heterosexual couples are celebrated with no restrictions put on what they can say or can't say about their parents in their home lives. When you are teaching children how to learn and deal with all the external forces that surround them in the world, the actual real world, if you want to help them be successfully functioning adults, you can't deny that world that exists around them. No one is asking for a class on gay sex for third graders, and Tulsi Gabbard knows this, but Tulsi Gabbard is sniffing for donation dollars.
Now, I'm confident that if our schools focused on educating our kids, teaching them the fundamentals, things like English, math, science, civics, history, we would see our literacy rates improve and set our young people up for success.
So Tulsi Gabbard believes that schools are not focusing on English, math, science, and civics because if they were, kids would be able to read better. Kids can't read better because schools are focusing too much on teaching the gay lifestyle. If Tulsi Gabbard actually cared about improving literacy levels, first, she would make sure there were no grammatical mistakes in the captioning on her own video.
That recently passed in Florida.
And second, her video would be about solutions for improving teacher pay, allowing conversations for unionization, and yes, maybe even volunteering at her own local school. These things would allow me to believe that Tulsi Gabbard knows how to walk the walk. Instead, all I believe about Tulsi Gabbard is that she likes to sit on her ass in front of a camera and lecture other people. Now, I'm not arguing that Tulsi Gabbard is not a Democrat or that Tulsi Gabbard doesn't belong in the Democratic Party. She can make those choices for herself. What I am saying is that Tulsi Gabbard is full of and Tulsi Gabbard knows she's full of she knows it full well. But is the only thing Tulsi Gabbard has left to fuel her career.